Yesterday, Dana and I headed down to Rivergate Park for a tournament of races in the Cuyahoga River, hosted by Team River Runner. The participants were wounded veterans operating adaptive paddling kayaks designed for heroes who've lost limbs or experienced other injuries in combat. I think I could speak for Dana that while we interviewed all sorts of amazing people in the past, this one was super unnerving because we were face to face with some profoundly inspiring people. It made our questions seem meek. Asking a legless veteran about his hobbies or a blind hero how he likes the water, you feel pretty small. But the fact is, they prefer you to talk to them like anyone else because they refuse to let their disabilities change their lives, and they'd like you to do the same thing. And none of them had any use for politics. They had bigger oars to row. Sadly, for Dana and myself, our disabilities got in the way. You've heard of that tissue in your throat called the glottis. That's the part of the larynx that houses your vocal cords. When you swallow, you close the glottis, but when you feel like crying, those muscles expand. It's that tension that creates what's called a lump in the throat. Dana and I suffered from attacks of this constantly while interviewing these heroes. The medical term is called getting choked up. So I must warn you, it's highly contagious, especially if you watch this with us right now.
All right, Senator Portman, tell us a little bit about Paddling for Patriots. You've been involved a long time.
It's a fantastic group. They help some of our returning veterans, wounded warriors, and it's a classic support group where they help guys to work with each other, to help each other. But it goes beyond that. It's about self-esteem and self-confidence. These guys are great athletes, and they sustained some serious injuries, so they can't, play football or do the basketball, whatever. But boy, they can get in the kayak.
This is our event.
Well, listen, any event for veterans needs all the love it can get.
That's true.
That's why we're here,
That's true. It's good to see you, Brett.
Likewise, let's get out there. Let's
You can be here.
You're getting out there too, right?
Of course I'm getting out there. I'm actually not a bad kayaker, to be honest.
Good. Have you met some of the vets?
No, but we're headed
Let's do that.
Go get them.
You're good.
So, Steve, I know this is a very dumb question because it says blind kayaker. Could you tell me what your injury is?
I lost my sight during combat operations in Iraq 8 years ago, on May 13, 2008.
Wow. Thank you for your service. I have to ask you, what's it like on the water and not being able to see anything? Obvious question.
It's a wild ride. No,
yeah.
I mean, I really, the best way I can put it, as someone with a so-called disability, being out here on the water gives me the ability to have freedom. Moving's living, and the world's still. I stare in this still world, and I could complain and dwell on staring into darkness. It's really important to just keep moving forward.
Wow. What's up, Ryan?
Nothing much. How's it going?
Good to see you here. I just strolled in with this young lady. We just happened to be, on the river. Thought we'd say hi.
You were in the Army?
Yes.
And in 2006, you sustained injuries. Can you describe them?
I'm a bilateral amputee, so I lost both my legs and several digits on my left hand, and like some internal injuries.
If there were wounded warriors who were watching this, who might not be as active as you are right now, what might you tell them?
I would say try something new. Get out on the water, kayak. It'll change your life. It's definitely changed mine.
Oh, nothing like being out on the open water. Bet you didn't know I was a seaman. Got a lot of experience doing this sort of thing. Hard work, though, I got to tell you. Think I'm really in the water? I'm not really in the water. I don't like water. So, Dana, do you know why the elephant's red?
No, I don't know why the elephant is red. Greg, why is the elephant red?
Because it's embarrassed. Actually, an elephant is known because it never forgets, and it is important that we never forget.
Never forget.
About our veterans.
Never forget.
And about the contributions that they make to preserve our freedoms. Dana, there was one thing that didn't make it into the package as I was watching it. It was when Steve, the blind veteran, was talking about why he keeps moving, and it was something so powerful.
No, I think you might not have been able to hear it. He talks about how, because he is blind, his world is still. And in order to feel alive, he needs to be moving.
Yeah.
He said movement is life, and life is movement. And he doesn't just kayak. He is in the rugby team.
Right.
And he plays basketball. He does all sorts of things that were amazing. The other thing that was very funny about the blind kayaker, Steve, is he said, you said something like, I'm very good looking, and tall. And he said, oh, like Tom Cruise? And we said, yeah, more like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can tell him. And I didn't tell him I was shorter than Tom Cruise. Eric, he actually referred to his blindness as a so-called disability.
I heard that. No, it's amazing. And what a great group. And there's so many of those great groups as well.
There's 55 chapters across America.
I've seen Wounded Warriors skiing, you know, with no limbs. It's amazing what's out there. And I think the second gentleman, the guy who was in the Army, he said, just if you're a Wounded Warrior and you're not doing something, get out there and do it. It really is. It provides a greater will.
And so Senator Rob Portman, who's the Ohio senator, incumbent senator running for re-election here, he's been involved in this for a long time. There are 55 chapters across America, and one of the things that they need, and in case you're interested, they need volunteers. Because when Steve goes kayaking, he has to have a guide on his side all the time. And actually, Senator Portman has done that several times, taking Wounded Warriors down the Potomac.
Right. You know, when Greg was talking about getting choked up, I did get choked up because it struck me how much people have to give in order to protect us and to protect America. And to see these guys not give up, I'm so grateful for being able to walk, my sight, my hands, you know, and then you just think, well, gosh, you know, these guys don't have that. And what I really appreciate, not only from Senator Portman, but from you and Greg, is that you guys went out there and did it, because I think so many people say, oh, it's so sad, I feel upset about it. But to get off the couch and go out and help those guys.
Hey, it was better than coming to the convention.
Oh, come on.
Well, I think it's incredible the sacrifice that they make, and just, you know, every morning when they get up and the things that they suffer from, because they've put it all on the line for our freedom, for our country, for the liberty that we enjoy. It really makes you feel like, what else can I do to help out and be part of the solution and helping this country? So God bless them, and that was very nice what you guys did.
Just reminds me of how inactive I am. And I'm a healthy guy, and I don't do 10% of what they do. It's a teamriverrunner.org if you want to find out more about volunteering or becoming part of this. Coming up, our final thoughts before